Good afternoon. Very nice to see most of us joined in today. Welcome to season 2 of the Banking and Financial Services Awareness Month and our campaign, This season is my steps, my wealth. Start, be consistent, grow, and finish strong. Glad to see you today. My name is Susan Mukoya. I work with Letshego Uganda Financial Services. It is a microfinance institution, and Letshego Uganda has been in existence since 2005. That means we are making 16 years this year. And Letshego Uganda is spread across the continent. We have presence in 11 countries. And it's a privilege for me to be your moderator this afternoon. Currently, I work as, I'm in charge of risk and compliance. And for me, it's a privilege to be the moderator for you this afternoon. And starting off our session today, the campaign is brought to you by the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services and Uganda Bankers Association in partnership with Bank of Uganda. In this campaign, we bring to you a series of free webinars where we talk money through different pillars of personal financial management, savings, loans, investment, insurance, retirement, taxation, digital finance. Experts will take us through insightful webinar topics targeting different segments and audiences such as SMEs, workplace, youth, women, and family. Please forgive me if my background is a bit noisy. I hope you can hear me very well. And our sponsors for this season, if I didn't mention, this is season 2 of this kind of session. And Housing Finance Bank is one of our sponsors, Equity Bank Uganda, Finance Trust Bank, DFCU Bank, Citibank Uganda, KCB Financial Intelligence Authority, Absa Bank of Uganda, Mercantile Credit Bank, Exim Bank Uganda, Finca Uganda, NCB Bank of Uganda, Ugaford Microfinance Limited, BRAC of Africa, Uganda, DTB Bank, ABC, Capital Bank, Bank of Baroda Uganda, Tropical Bank, and Cairo Bank Uganda. We just want to thank our sponsors. It is because of them that we have such an opportunity to receive free webinars where we are going to learn and benefit. It's not usually easy to get free stuff, but this is an opportunity for us to learn and benefit. And for more information about what is going on, you can visit www.yourmoneycan.or.ug for more information or to get in touch. And today we continue with the webinar series with our webinar under the topic, Women's Unique Financial Challenges and Opportunities. We know that over the years, women have had a number of challenges, but also opportunities. We have seen women raised through the ranks to take up a number of responsibilities in a predominantly male space. This also comes with great challenges, but most importantly, opportunities. And for me as a woman, I've seen the opportunities that it comes with, but of course, challenges as well. And today with us, we have the opportunity to have a lady talk to us. And the topic for us today is women's unique financial challenges and opportunities. And like I mentioned, there are so many opportunities, but nothing comes without challenges, and challenges come to help us grow. So the person going to talk to us today is currently the Chief Risk Officer of Housing Finance Bank Uganda, with an executive MBA from American University in Dubai and a bachelor's degree in commerce, specializing in financial services. She is a certified risk and compliance management professional, certified continuity manager, certified iOS 31000 risk management professional. She has 18 years of work experience, especially in the field of risk management, and also serves as a board member of Concern for Girl Child. So I think you can see where all this is coming from. She has been recognized in 2015 and 2018 as one of the top 40 female executives under 40 years of age who are influencing in the field of expertise in Uganda. So with me today, please welcome Mariette Naiga Mwesigwa, the Chief Risk Officer for Housing Finance Bank, Uganda. Mariette, you're welcome. Please talk to us this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Susan. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. For some reason, I don't see the video showing, but I'll go to the, I will project my presentation. Just give me a second. Okay, Susan, are you able to project for me or Benedict my presentation?
I'll do that. Let me just a second.
Yes, sure. Please hold a minute. I can share your presentation, Mariette, in a few. Oh, it's actually up. It's up from your side. That's okay.
Yes, okay. Thank you. I've been able to open it, so I'll go right back into it. So, listeners, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's a pity I can't see you. You can't see me in the video, but at least you can see my presentation. Today I'm here to speak about, continue the conversation on women's unique financial challenges and opportunities. This is a conversation that has been ongoing, as Susan introduced. And thank you so much, Susan, for the opportunity, and Institute of Bankers and all the banks that are sponsoring this event. Thank you. This conversation we are having this afternoon is not a new conversation to any of us, I believe, but I will speak to some of the challenges you may already know, but try to spend more time on opportunities that are financial opportunities that are out there for us. As I was introduced, I am Mariette Naiga Mwesigwa, the Chief Risk Officer of Housing Finance Bank. So just to give you a sense of how we will move this afternoon within our hour, I'll just speak, I'll give you a short story about myself so we can relate. I'll show you what the research in Uganda is showing on women and financial inclusion. I'll also show you what unique financial challenges are being highlighted, why we have to close the gender gap in financial inclusion for women, and also what are those unique financial opportunities that are there. I'm sure everyone who was locked on is anxious to know what is it that I can do, I can take advantage of. And also just at the end to show you that we all have to do this together. You can't leave it to one group of people. You can't leave it to men. You can't leave it to women. You can't leave it to government. You have to work together. So I'll just go back to the story about myself. So like any woman, I've done a lot of side hustles to supplement my formal income since I started working. So I have sold milk from my mother's cows. I have sold jewelry. I have sold clothes. I've sold shoes. Someone once joked that you are so good at convincing and selling, you might one day sell off your husband. It was a joke. I laughed. But I've sold all manner of things because what? I am trying to look for financial freedom as a woman. I have also been privileged that I have stood on the shoulders of giants, giants like my mother, giants like the women who have gone before, even giants like my father and all those people who have allowed me to find financial freedom. I'm now the chief risk officer. I'm not in a bad place. But other people haven't had the same benefit. And that's why we have to have this conversation. And that's why we all have to move it forward. It's not just a conversation, it's what we can do when we leave this place. So I'll go back to the story of selling milk, among the things I've sold. So, so when I wanted to, it was my very first business. I just wanted to know what I could sell on the side to earn an extra buck. My mother had cows, so we decided to, I started wondering, what can I possibly do? Then I discovered that the security men in our office, it was such a long time ago, I just started working. The security men in our office had young families, and they could not afford the dairy corporation milk. They could not afford the liter at Jessa. They could not afford that type of milk. But they needed milk they can trust, is also good quality, but cheaper. So when I brought the idea to them, they accepted, they started taking, it became my market. So I would get milk from my mom, I add a markup, I sell, I return. I wouldn't pay her before selling the milk. What is the moral of this short story? The moral is that sometimes you're looking for the idea that will give you financial freedom, and you're looking far and wide. But then the way to get the idea is the need is always around you. Look around you. It's always right next to you. The second point is, then you ask yourself, where do I get capital to start? Also, I want to let you know that sometimes you do not have to have the money to start. In that example that I used of selling my mother's milk, I didn't have the capital, but she was able to trust me to take milk from her on credit, sell it, and return her percentage of the money. This is a point I want you to keep up to the end of this conversation. You will have to have enough credibility as a woman. People need to be able to trust that when you take their goods on credit, or when you come and borrow money, they can trust that you will use it, multiply it, and return it. That concept is even in the Bible. You will return it. So the whole discussion on financial freedom starts on how credible are you? There is no bank or financial institution or lender you will go to if they think that you are not credible. There is no place where you go, they will continue to give you money. They may give you the first time because they don't know. But once they discover you're not a credible borrower, you're not trustworthy, they will not come back to you. So that the point I want to make first is, how credible are you? Your character. That is the first step in financial freedom. It is about your character. That is how you'll be able to access even the bigger lines of credit. Character. So I'll first leave that there, credibility with your character. Then I will go back to what has the study showed on Uganda and financial inclusion on women. So we read results from a study, FinScope, for 2018. FinScope is a study authorized by Financial Sector Deepening in Uganda, and they do a lot of studies on financial inclusion. So this is the last one they have released so far. It had some highlights that helped us, me understand that why this conversation. A lot of people have talked about women and financial inclusion, gender gap, and it just helped me put everything in context. And I want you to also have context before we reach the opportunities. So there is, they did a study on 10 million women in Uganda in 2018, and this was not 1990, this is 2018. 78% are financially included. When I read that, I clapped. I was extremely excited. 78% are financially included. But when I went to, yes, they're financially included, but where do they go? Only 4% go to formal lenders. Others, they get from their spouses, their brothers, their parents, their friends, their neighbors. This is where they depend. Only 4% go to formal lenders like banks, microfinance institutions, 4% of the 10 million. Then one of the things that also came out is access to mobile phones. They found that more men are likely to have mobile phones than women. 58% of the men studied had mobile phones, and yet only 46% of the women studied had mobile phones. Remember, a lot of financial transactions are now happening on the phone, so that's a key ingredient. The other thing is access to internet. They found male adults have more access to internet than women. Only 8% of the women studied had access to internet. The number for male is also not that good. It's 13%. So generally in Uganda, the access to internet is not that big. However, still you can see the gap between men and women, 5%. Then we go to where are they? Are they in urban areas where the financial institutions are and the lenders are quite many? Where are the women? Most of the women were residing in rural areas where telecoms haven't even reached, where financial services haven't reached. Most were below 36 years. Most had at most a primary education. That was the other thing. Then they also looked at, okay, for those who are working, yes, some are working. When they go to the workplace, what happens? They found occupational segregation. That's still many women are restricted to low-skilled and lower-paying jobs. They even saw that the monthly earnings for a woman is half of what the man earns, the average. We move from there. Then we go to the issue of land titles. When they surveyed, they found that 52% of the adults said, oh yeah, we own our own homes, but only 6% had title deeds. And this is generally not only women, but only 6% of the adult population in Uganda have title deeds for the homes they own. I leave that fact there. We'll talk about it later. And then I tried to see globally, what is the situation globally? There's that study, Global Findex. It revealed that still less women had an access to an account. 65% women had an access to account, while the men, you can see, 75. So when you go behind those statistics, you find institutional and cultural, social cultural restrictions or inefficiencies that we need to address. So one of the financial challenges we saw behind those numbers we have just talked through is social culture. For example, traditionally in African communities, that study also revealed women don't traditionally own land. So if you're just thinking about the woman in Kampala who has a job like mine, Marietta's or Susan's, you've got it wrong. Majority of the women live in the rural areas, as they have told us, and they don't own the land. So if they go to the bank and they say they want to borrow and the bank asks them for a land title, that's where the story ends. Also in social culture, they found that since in most African communities, the woman does not have to go to school. Women are trying to go to school with the government programs that are there. But most, if you ask many African communities, the women don't have to go to school. If they have to choose between the male and the female child, they'll send the male child to school. Then institutional inefficiencies. So we have our banks that are still mostly asking for collateral of land titles for the huge loans that would push the women or the men forward. We also found that actually women are finding it hard to get the national ID, which now banks are asking to prove identity when you want to open an account. And then you ask me how? Because if a woman wakes up in the morning and goes to till the land in the rural areas, and then they have to do all the housework at home with the children and look after the children, there is no time to say, let me look for the nearest center in my village to get the ID. So they don't have the ID. Then the access to digital services. So we've seen in the previous slide how the mobile phones are fewer in women. Access to internet is fewer. So they are just cut off from that point. And then there's training, access. They're not seeing enough training. One, because education, they are not going to school. Second, because even just the financial literacy, not enough has been done to reach out. So those are some of the challenges. And today I want to speak about why we have to close this gender gap I have spoken to in the previous 2 slides. One, if we have women able to access finances, credit, then they will be able to borrow, then they'll be able to set up businesses, then they'll be able to spend more, they'll be able to buy things for their homes. As they continually consume, we have more consumers in the economy starts thriving, and any of us who are seated in this webinar will set up a business. If the economy is thriving, that means men and women have money to spend. That means your business will thrive. So we need to close that gap so that we have more people spending. We don't just have one group of people spending. It lowers the financial risks and costs. So of course, if I were a bank here, I would know that if I have fewer customers, I have fewer people to charge transaction costs. So I am putting all my eggs in one basket on few clients. But if you allow more women to have access to bank accounts, to allow access to credit so they run businesses, you're able to lower your risk as a lender and a bank. It provides security. The families can then be secure. They have food, they have shelter, they have the basic needs of life. There will be less people attacking night robberies because there are more people who are saving. So we want to increase the savings and investment in the country. It has been found that women really try to save. You've heard of groups like the Niginas. You've heard of SACCOs. Those groups usually are full of women who are trying whatever they can to save and invest.
Marietta,
and then they will
just a minute, slightly. Would you kindly make the
Pardon,
slides
please?
move? Kindly make the slides move. They are not moving, so that we can move at the same pace with
Oh.
the presentation.
The slides are not moving?
Yes, please.
Okay, which slide are you? Let me maybe stop sharing. Because it was moving on my side.
Okay. Okay, let me share from this end. Yeah, that should be okay now. That should be okay. Kindly unmute yourself and proceed. Yeah, sure. That's okay.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Apologies. Let's proceed.
Apologies, technical challenges there.
You're good
So
now.
thank you very much. So I wanted to go to the opportunities. So what opportunities are out there for women financially? The first opportunity I want to highlight is the formal organizations that are supporting women in business. I found quite a number as I prepared for this webinar. There's National Association of Women Organizations in Uganda. There's Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Association, Uganda Women's Network, Uganda Women's, I mean, there are very many. I just highlighted a few. They have websites, they are fully fledged. They are doing so much. If you go read about them and join them, if, for example, you're in business, even if you just want to start, they're open. They'll tell you their requirements for joining. But what I have seen, they are really promoting product development for women. They help market women businesses. They are giving voices for women. They give you a platform, the networking. They do events where they allow you to display your products. They also do a lot of skills development. So if you need understanding on tax management for your business, taxes, or you want to understand how to organize your papers to get a loan, or they are also supporting in setting up funds to start businesses. So these organizations are already there. They have been there for a long time. Please make use of them. That's the first opportunity I have found in the market in Uganda today, quite many. Then among opportunities, financial institutions, especially banks, have also come up with various financial opportunities. And this slide will speak to what banks have done, but also what more they can do. Or not even banks, other financial institutions as well. There are many. Microfinances, deposit-taking institutions, credit institutions, there are many. What more they can do with the financial muscle they have, what more can they do? So one of the things they can do is gender-focused products. We have found there are some banks that have really tailored products to women needs. I will mention DFCU has a Women in Business program. It's big. Pre-pandemic, they would get women, take them for a lot of financial literacy sessions in the country, but also expose them abroad, trips abroad. There's a whole program around there. In Finance Trust, a bank that was set up by women for women. They have that account, Mama Safe, Standard Chartered, and Centenary. All these banks have particular accounts, and they recognize the woman as a distinct sector they need to serve, and they have packaged different products. If you get in touch with them, they will show you and take you through what products they have, so they are there. Also, so they will also give you those opportunities for exposure, which I've spoken to. But also because banks have a lot of negotiating power, they are also partnering with the women groups, and they can do more. The groups I have spoken to in the previous slide, partnering with these women groups for financial literacy. So some financial literacy programs can be done by the bank by itself, but it would do well to work with these organizations, National Association for Women organizations. They train you, because those other organizations have mastered what the need is, what needs to be done. So banks with their financial muscle support and work with them. We've also seen the banks or any other financial institution can create networking opportunities to promote their products. That's what some banks have done, the ones mentioned in number 1 above there. They allow you to bring your goods together, have meetings with other women in business, and promote your products. So you have an ecosystem you are working with. The other thing that's coming up now that banks are seriously looking into is alternative collateral. One of the challenges we mentioned in the earlier slides is most women don't own property in the country. So if they want to borrow, what can they use? So they are looking at alternative collateral and flexible loan terms. Here I will spotlight Housing Finance Bank where I work. So there is a loan product called incremental housing loan. That product, we found that most people in Uganda, they build their houses incrementally. Most people can't afford to come and get a mortgage of 100 million and build their home. They can come and get 5 million and put up the foundation. They pay that one back. They go to the next step. I want to put my house to ring beam. Give me, for me, I tell you, 7 million is enough. They take that and come back, and like that. So they keep building their houses incrementally. We have got that loan which we have structured, and actually we are promoting it among the women because we found that lots of women now are spearheading construction of family homes in the different families in the country. So there's that product. Then there is, we also found from our previous slide, we saw that fewer women have access to a bank account. So what banks have looked into is how can we simplify opening an account? So banks have partnered with NIRA for national IDs, so that they can they just require a national ID to open a personal account, so that they don't require anything more, because if we have connected our systems, we can be able to do any background checks we would like to do on you. For business accounts, I understand by law, there are other requirements that are needed, but for a personal account, the first step to close that gap we highlighted of less women having access to an account, that has been simplified in almost all the 25 banks in the country. Then we speak on asset quality. On asset quality, we mean the loans that we give out. How well are they repaid? When you look for statistics by gender, you can't really find them. But if different banks look at their portfolio, you will find that more women pay their loans in time, or they try so hard, or it's very difficult to find them refusing to pay than the male. But then now we have to do more on getting these statistics, so that when we are giving loans, when we find that if we have data backing up and we find less women default, that means the tool that makes us set our interest rate for loans will score a woman better, so that the woman borrower gets a better interest rate. So that is what we are pushing. Let all the banks do this analysis and be able to score the woman find if the woman is paying better than the male borrowers, then they should get a better interest rate as a smaller interest rate. Then there are other issues that that affect a woman, that cannot allow them to reach the point of even looking for credit. There are social issues like maternal health. As the banks and financial institutions, they have the muscle to invest socially to combat these issues. We've at least I've seen a lot of corporate social responsibility that is done by different organizations, but I will spotlight Stanbic. It's doing a lot on maternal health, safe motherhood, such that a woman can go beyond trying to stay alive at child delivery, or trying to stay alive after they've given birth, and be able to go to the next step of being in the financial system. So this is where we are asking banks to focus because they have muscle to focus there. And this is the challenge we are throwing out there. And lastly here is we found, the survey we talked about earlier found, as we mentioned, that there are mobility constraints. The ladies are unable to leave their homes to go to just go and access the bank, access the lender, access, I mean, it's difficult, it's expensive. So what can we do? We are now we have moved, we have a digital journey that we have embraced as a country, just like the rest of the world. How can we partner with fintechs? I know many banks are partnering with fintechs. Many technology companies are coming up to design. They are now working to design products for women. I will spotlight one product. It's not particularly for women, but there are some opportunities that are out here in the market that women may not be aware of, but they should be, so that they can take advantage of them just like men are taking advantage. So for example, Housing Finance has partnered with Airtel. So Airtel clients are able to, so if you have Airtel Money, if you're registered on Airtel Money and you go and shop and you're trying to pay with Airtel Money and you've run out of credit, Airtel can, on your Airtel Money, there's a facility for you to access a loan, a quick loan to top up so that you're able to pay for what you're trying to shop. Usually consumables, because these are smaller loans. I know there are many women in the rural areas that will take so long to be able to access banks or lenders or big lenders, but they can access some of these solutions which are there, and they may not know yet they're on Airtel Money. So there are some of these solutions. Then there are some advanced solutions, treasury bills, bonds. I won't get into that because we are still taking baby steps and just need to spotlight how the women can get up, overcome the social restrictions, and be able to access accounts in the bank, access the financial system, access credit, and then we'll have a better country. So thank you so much. That's what I had for you today. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Marietta. Wow, wow, wow. This has been so enlightening for me as a woman and for me as a Ugandan currently, because there are so many opportunities for us out there as ladies, and of course the men as well. We are not going to leave them out, but the opportunities, as far as our discussion today is concerned, it is around women, and this has been very insightful and a learning session for me, because there are so many opportunities out there that we don't know about. And a takeout for me, and then we invite questions as well, but a takeout for me, I learned that reaching women has been so simplified, because it has always been difficult to reach women, for them to get the various opportunities out there. Banks and other financial service providers have come up with various incentives for women to benefit from. And women have broken the social norms, and we now see a lot of independence for women. Like you mentioned, there are so many women putting up homes for the families. So thank you so much for the session today. And we see that women now have access to technology as well. Members, as we are drawing close to the end of our session, we invite questions, but just to read some comments. Albert says, today we have a bank that particularly targets women at the bottom of the pyramid in Uganda. That is in rural areas and in hard to reach areas, and does not demand for collateral. BRAC Uganda is what is referring to, which is in 84 districts with 163 branches in the country. Then Chris says Opportunity Bank has women targeted credit under subsidized interest and under She Trade program. Yes, I think the program is She Trade program. Then Paul is saying, thank you for the presentation. Matchlet says, thank you. And then Mugabe Richard says that Finance First, women access loans at lower interest rates compared to the rest of the beneficiaries. Sorry. Thank you so much, Marietta. Thank you so much, everyone. We invite questions. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Any questions, any takeaways for us today? As we prepare a poll questions for us. Benedict, I don't know if we are ready. Benedict, are we ready with the poll questions? Members, as we wait for Benedict, thank you so much for making time. Please don't forget, we have another webinar tomorrow, and tomorrow's webinar is Workplace Financial Wellness Challenges, Causes, Effects, and Solutions, and this will be at midday, tomorrow at 12 p.m., and will be delivered by Dr. Fred Muhumuza, a senior economist and researcher at Makerere University. You don't want to miss this. So please plan accordingly to attend, and let's learn together. As our season 2 says, my targets, my wealth, my steps, sorry, my wealth. Benedict, are we ready with the poll questions? Benedict? Just to thank our sponsors again for participating in the awareness month. We have our sponsors, we have Housing Finance Bank, and of course you can also see that we are learning, receiving free knowledge from our resource at Housing Finance Bank. For those of you who joined late, Marietta Naiga Mwesigo, our presenter today, is the Chief Risk Officer for Housing Finance Bank. And just to continue with our sponsors, we have Equity Bank, we have Finance Trust, DFCU Bank, Citibank, SCB Bank, Financial Intelligence Authority, Absa Bank, Mercantile Credit Bank, Exim Bank, Finca Uganda, NCBA, we have Ugaford, Microfinance Limited, BRAC, and of course you had someone mentioning that there are opportunities for women in BRAC, Bank of Africa Uganda, DTB Bank, ABC Bank, ABC Capital Bank, Bank of Baroda Uganda, Tropical Bank, and Cairo Bank Uganda. Benedict, are we ready with the poll questions? And back to, okay, I think the poll questions are up. Please, let's take the poll. We'll give it 2 minutes, or 1 minute actually is sufficient for us to complete. Then we receive feedback. And just to mention again, we have another session tomorrow at 12 p.m. And as we take the poll, Seba Musa says, thanks Marietta for such a presentation. And then Kakonge Cornelius says, there should be an arrangement to have such seminars cascaded down to the women at the grassroots. Thank you so much, Kakonge. I think Benedict has picked that up, and the institution, plus our sponsors as well, because we are all stakeholders in this, and having a financially literate population is equally important for us. Christine says, thank you, Marietta. Businesses thrive better when managed by the owners. How can one balance home employment with the side business effectively? And that is a question for you, Marietta. I think we'll answer at a later stage. Thank you, Christine. Annette says, thank you, Marietta, for the presentation. It now comes back to us all to create awareness amongst the women. Many of them are still green. It doesn't kill if I met a tomato woman and asked her if she has an account with any bank. That can be a starting point. Thank you, Christine. And thank you, Annette. That is a recommendation to all of us. We've all been tasked to ensure the women out there receive financial literacy from us. Thank you so much. Benedict, are we done with the poll? Okay, thank you so much. I think we are, just a second. Sorry about that. Okay. The results from the poll, please rate this webinar. And 41% of the people say it was very good. 50% say it was good. 6% say it was average. And 3% say it was poor. The 3%, that is the one person who said it was poor. If you don't mind sharing with us where the challenge was so we can make it better next time, would be very glad. And then what proportion of the information was new to you? 16% say all of it. 66% say some of it. And then 13% say most of it. 6% say none. So the 16% is very good that you attended today, and I think we take out something from this webinar. Then third question, when can you use this session information? And 81% say immediately. That is very good. 13% say in 6 months. And interestingly, we have 6% who are saying never. And my interest would be why wouldn't you use this information ever? So if you don't mind sharing with us, you can please type your concerns in the chat room. Feel free, or reach out to Benedict if there is anything that you can share with us to make this better. Thank you so much. And back to the questions. There was a question, Marietta, for you. How can one balance home employment with the side business effectively? And then I think this is appreciation. Thank you, Marietta, for the presentation. Very insightful. Kindly requesting to adjust the time next time, because for some of us, this time is a little busy to attend. I think that is for the institute. I hope they will act accordingly. Marietta, if you don't mind us answering the question, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Susan, and participants for the humble feedback. I've taken it, work with the institutes to improve and actually bring more relevant content for those who are not satisfied. For those who have appreciated, thank you so much. The question was, but before I go to the question, I think I didn't even wind up very well in terms of the first slide. We have to work together. Your character as a woman has to be credible. The institutions, no one leaves it to one person. You've seen banks have a role to play. the government through NERA has a role to play. Private organizations like the women organizations that I've spoken to have a role to play. Like, we have to all work together. But before you point the finger to the rest, you ask yourself, how credible am I? That when a credit line is extended to me, will I pay it back? Will I work hard enough to pay it back? So I just wanted to top up that. But the question sent is, how do you balance from employment and the side business? And I think it comes from the story I shared. You have to always remember, where your bread and butter is. If you value your job, then you don't exactly mix the two. For example, I'll say the example I gave. I had to come earlier, before 7. Remember, the banks would open at 8. Before 7, distribute that milk, and I'm at my desk by 7:15 and everything is done, and that's it. So try and find the balance that doesn't cheat the former employer, because you need the job, and you also need to give your 100% to the former employment. Maybe in the week, if it's not happening in the office, in the week you have to delegate your role to someone else, and then you supervise on the weekend, or you supervise after work. But you have to find that balance where your former employer is not impacted. So that's how I would respond to your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Marietta. We have Teba Musa, your hand is up, and then Julius Sokoth. I think we'll start with Teba. Then Julius, you can ask after. Teba Musa.
Where is the other teacher? Alex, are you bringing?
Okay, please ask your question. Okay, Julius, you are unmuted. You can ask this. Okay, I think Okoth is not able to ask, and Teba dropped off as well. So thank you so much, participants, and our presenter, our speaker for this afternoon. Thank you so much, Naiga. Going to ask you to give us any parting shots, and then we can end this webinar.
Okay, thank you so much, Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services, for giving us opportunity to share what we have, to share our experience, and to share the opportunities that we have come across in our walk of life. I think all the banks that are sponsoring, would like to thank them. Our dear audience that has made time to log in at this time. One member has commented it's not a very good time, and we understand, but you've made time. Thank you so much. My last parting shot is what we have learned today, or what we've been even reminded of today. We can take it away and help another woman, help another person, help another family, because when we help each other, we then find that the country goes together. There's an example I like sharing, that if you are the only one in your extended family who can access a bank loan, who can qualify to access a bank loan. Imagine what stress you will have. You are the one who the aunties, the uncles, the grandfathers, the brothers, sisters, and everyone will come to for money. You won't be able to save, you won't be able to invest. So the reason we speak about financial literacy, we highlight the opportunities. Our members in the audience highlighted opportunities I hadn't spoken to, like BRAC, Opportunity Bank, Finance Trust. The reason we are having this discussion is to bring to light things which some of us take for granted, but other people don't know. So let's use this information. Thank you, the 81% who said immediately you're going to go and use it. I thank you so much. Let's go and help another person. I think that's what we're here on earth to do, to help each other, move together, and bring our country up. I will also share that I have tried to understudy the story of Dubai. I did my executive MBA there. And 35 years ago, that country was nowhere near where Uganda was. But when you go there right now, you are amazed. First world countries go there right now, they are amazed at what they see. It's very exclusive. It's a very nice country. They've built it. But the citizens of that country said, let us pull one another up. Let us not leave anyone behind. We have also a gender gap on financial inclusion of women. They made sure that women are placed in roles. There are so many things they put in place. Now that Dubai is thriving. If we work together, we will thrive. But back to my first point, one thing they have tried to do for themselves is be trustworthy. You can't find a thief there. Very difficult. So trustworthy, credibility, the sky is the limit. Thank you so much, Susan, for moderating, and the whole team from the Institute. Have a good day and God bless you.
Before we go off, I will invite our CEO, Madame Goretti, to say something to us before we end the session officially. Thank you so much, Marietta.
Wow. Good afternoon, friends. Yet again, a beautiful webinar. I cannot thank you enough, Marietta, for all those insights. Even I personally learned something new, and I think that's what we are looking for. Things, insights that we can utilize the moment we leave this place. And thank you for emphasizing the issue of not leaving anybody behind. I think that's really critical, and really appreciate the fact that you put aside time for that. Susan, thank you very much for joining efforts and moderating this session that we also do not take for granted. My quest and my request to everybody on the call is to make sure that you find ways of involving yourselves in this awareness month and making it bigger and better each time. I have loved the comments. I saw comments such as, why don't we talk to our tomato women? I mean, that's a brilliant idea. It means that people are touched, and that we are saying as an industry, we need to go out and do a crusade. Sounds like a crusade to me. So when we hear, commitments such as this, or proposals and suggestions such as this, it really is, it validates the reason we are here, validates the reason for the awareness month. However, bring 10 more people the next time you come, and that is tomorrow. Tomorrow is important for all of us who are employed. So yourselves, your friends, your brothers and sisters, your workmates, just bring them and let's move together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, CEO. And I think that is it. We'll meet again tomorrow. And yes, have a wonderful afternoon, and God bless you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Susan. Bye.